Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin has continued to take hit after hit, and probably, this winter being as mild as it is really going to have a direct effect on many of those communities. So, I mean, I think if you put all that together, they know that this would be a huge boost for that part of the state. But, can they simply come out and say, I don't care about the environment? No, they can't. I mean, they need to try and put protections in place. Now, I feel that the 22 changes we made, along with the Assembly bill, did that. I'm still confident that the DNR would do their job, and we're not going to issue a permit if they did not see everything from contested case hearings, which we added back into the process in the Finance Committee. I mean, contested case was the big, the Assembly pulled both contested cases out. We added that one back in, and I think that was significant. That was a big part of why I thought we might be able to get the votes, but in the end,
some of us want to be environment. It's also like a keystone thing. You're saying, oh, we need that. But we need to keep our aquifers clean, and we need to be able to turn on our faucets and get clean water. Another question I had too about that, there was something about people would be able to get flood insurance if they passed that and started mine up there.
that was corrected in the Finance Committee.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that was something that was brought to our attention after the Assembly bill was passed. The federal government, we reached out to the federal government, we kept hearing this about that issue, and that was addressed in the Assembly bill, so that was fixed.
And then the other question I have is related to Farron's question, is that this week on Thursday night or Friday or something, Governor Walker signed a bill that would allow lawsuits for the inequality ages. Is that what he signed?
Yeah, I mean, the bill again deals with employers and
basically said to me, it looked like they were going to support any unequal wages between men and women.
no.
And I can't read
No, it's not. No.
I can't read in how you think that having a bill come out that says they can't sue their employers for unequal wages.
No.
And that's signed.
No.
So why do we have to sign a bill that's so unclear? Because quite a few of us got it up, actually. It doesn't make sense.
No, again, I think any of the stuff that was done under the auspices of, fair wages, workplace, anything that was put in place last session had a chilling effect on what I would consider hiring practices. And this bill simply put us back to where we were prior to the Hansen bill. The Hansen bill, I believe, was political fodder. It was used and described as breaking the glass ceiling, everything along that line. Okay? And then in the end, just simply, again, I think had a chilling effect because it put us in a different place than other states in that people would go, if you're an employer, you're going to go, wait a minute. Now we're open to lawsuit if we use the same practices that we've used all along. And I just think it sends that chilling effect.
So what you're saying then is if you and I had the same job and all conditions being equal, but you were paid $2 an hour more than me, that I would no longer be able to go to the courts then and say, this is not fair, it's not equal. That you could earn more.
But if you have, I mean, that's the idea, if you have two men or two women sitting side by side, and they're getting different wages for different reasons, any series of evaluations or productivity or whatever employer might base that on, and that's a situation that exists everywhere, right? You got two women sitting next to each other doing the same job.
But when over the years, I mean, since I have been young, I have heard about the disparity between male and female income. I mean, I think that if you haven't heard that by now, nobody's been listening to the news over the last 30, 40 years. And so I think that Senator Darling and Representative Litchens should lead the way and show how well this works by taking a 25% pay cut in their wages since they supported this bill.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on. Amy Jancy, Lake Mills. I'm sorry.
Hi, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, Amy.
Yeah, I had a question. I was hoping you could share with us how much of your contributions for your campaign have come from out of state, and if so, why do you expect those people have contributed to your campaign? Are they companies perhaps that are doing business?
I don't know
state contracts?
Yeah, I don't know. No. I don't know what the percentage of out-of-state donors are, but it's been significantly more in the last year and a half. And that, I think, is in direct relation to the amount of support that people have shown for the legislators that voted in favor of Act 10. I get literally, people that contact me from all over the United States that say, hey, listen, we believe what you guys did in Wisconsin is right and was needed, and whether you fully buy into the idea that the pushback on the public employee unions was right or just or all those arguments, there is a huge group of people out there nationwide that support that idea. And I think because of that, you get a lot of $5, $10, $15, $25 checks from people all over the nation. All over the nation. And, the same thing's going on with Governor Walker. I mean, this is not just about Wisconsin at this point. Wisconsin became the tip of the spear in this debate that's going on nationwide, and I think that's why you see so many people from out of state who are supportive of that idea and have been supportive of myself and my colleagues. And because of that, I don't see it as somebody sending you a small dollar donation from another state necessarily says anything about where Scott Fitzgerald is on the next vote or anything like that. So.
Are you a member of ALEC?
I am a member of ALEC.
Legislative Exchange Council?
Yeah, American Legislative Exchange Council. I have been for a number of years. There are a number of legislative organizations that members of the Senate are active in, both Democrats and Republicans. There are Democrats that are members of ALEC as well as Republicans, and it is a bipartisan group that does a lot of think tank work and also develops what I would say public policy papers and offers ideas on that. There's also a National Council of State Legislatures, basically does the same thing. I don't participate in that organization, but there are a number of legislators that go and participate in their dialogues. And then the Council of State Governments, which is another bipartisan group that deals with specifically more on how chambers are run throughout the state. I find it very valuable. I think the exchanges that I have with legislators from other states is valuable. Sometimes we work, and I have pirated, as we call them, which is stealing bills from other states. Happens all the time. Sometimes something will happen in one state, and then it spreads like wildfire, state by state by state, as state legislatures kind of embrace it and work on those bills. So, yeah, I have been a member of ALEC for a number of years.
Well, I'm not really sure so much as that it spreads by wildfire as much as these bills are model legislation that are actually put out by ALEC to be adopted by their supporters in various legislators, as you mentioned, across the country.
Boilerplate. Yeah.
Boilerplate. Well,
yeah.
Why can't you instead develop legislation that instead of boilerplate is actually aimed at advancing the needs of the public here in Wisconsin?
We do. I mean, that's part of the dialogue. I think that's a valuable part of what any Wisconsin legislator would take into account when drafting a bill. If you look at what ALEC puts out there, a bill like texting while driving, okay? So that bill happens in one state, and then you look at what they did and you say, that looks pretty good, or that doesn't look like it's something that would work in Wisconsin, or it doesn't look like something that our caucus would embrace, then you don't make that part of your bill. I mean, I think that that's valuable to know what's going on in other states and whether or not it's working. I really do. I believe in ALEC, and I believe in Council of State Governments, and I believe in NCSL. I believe there's a whole range of state legislator organizations that I think add value to anything you're doing. And the other thing is that the dynamic, I gotta watch my time here, dynamic on you know, if you do a bill that you see happening in Montana, you know, they have a whole different legislative process there where they meet for 2 months and they ram a number of public policy decisions through, so I think it's valuable. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to watch my timer because I'll be in Waterloo at 5. Sandy Whistler?